Hello, it's Sherry Ruskus here, and I am doing my very first book chat. I'm using a new recording method, and I couldn't get my camera to work. I have a new camera, so the lighting is kind of funny. But we'll just go with it because we got to go where we got to go. And I thought that I would do these once a month. That I would take a book that I really found pivotal in my life, either a new one or one from back in the day. And this time around, I'm going to go with my book that's all marked up. It's from back in the day. Let's see if I can get this over here. That's it. It's The Artist's Way, and this one I happened to pick up the 25th anniversary edition. My original edition was falling apart because I have used it so much over the years, and don't let me cover up her name, but Julia Cameron is the author of this book. And let me tell you, last summer I actually went through this. It's a 12-week program that she's created in here, and last summer I went through it and did the 12 weeks with a group of people, and it was really a lot of fun. And sometimes if you do it with a group of people, it can be great. But what I thought I would do today is bring to you the 10 takeaways that I have from The Artist's Way. And again, back in the day when I really had this desire to be a writer and just felt like there was writer's block because I couldn't get it down onto the page, right? Have you ever had that? Well, I did a number of things. I worked with a local coach in Boulder, Cynthia Morris, who I talk about Cynthia a lot because she opened my heart and mind to writing in ways that nobody else has. But also The Artist's Way was another piece of it for me, of really tapping in, because I think what happens for us, I know, is that somewhere along the line we turn off our creativity. And I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming podcast that I can go ahead and link to this video as well. But in the podcast, I am going to talk more about imagination and how we cut it off. But Julia is a great tool. She created a great tool in The Artist's Way. I got to not hit my table because I'm just out on the patio table and it's a little wonky. So here's my 10 takeaways. And it's a course in discovering and recovering your creative self, is what she says as on the top of the book. And it's a spiritual path to higher creativity. And so number one is really this whole need to honor creativity as a spiritual path. There's many books about it, many things going on, but this is such a good beginning. And it's really a spiritual path. It's a spiritual practice that you do on a regular basis when you let your imagination come out and play. And this book is so for everyone, but most especially for those people who have said, "Oh, that's good for you, but I'm not a creative. I'm just not creative." Well, I say hogwash to that. I don't know why hogwash, but that's the word that comes up today. Hogwash to that, because we all were innately given the beauty of imagination, creativity as part of this mind and brain of ours. And it's like any other, muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so this book is really about getting your creativity going again. So that's number one. Number two is understanding your creativity blocks, or as Julia shared, most of the time when we're blocked in an area of our life is because we feel safer that way. Like, if I don't let my imagination come out and play, I don't have to worry about it, not being a great thing, or, that I'm the next great author or writer or anything like that. We're safe. We're safe if we don't let our creativity come out and play, and it's just not a safe place to be. And she talks about that right in the intro. So it's opening yourself up to the possibilities of getting out of your safety zone, out of your security zone, and really figuring it out. Number three is the basic principles. So I told you 10 things, but I'm going to share with you. Let me just get to page 3 here. Let me just share with you her basic principles, because I think that's important before we finish the 10. All right. So her basic principle number 1 is creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy. pure creative energy. If you think about it, in the things that are around you, somebody created everything around you, whether it was the great creator beyond or someone here on earth, it was created. So it's like that whole idea of creative energy. Principle number 2 is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. Number 3 is when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. We're doing a great injustice if we don't do that. Number 4 of Julia's basic principles are we are ourselves creations, and we in turn are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. And it comes in so many shapes and sizes, as we'll continue to talk about. Her 5th principle is creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity as our gift back to God. So whatever your belief system is, it's giving back what we've been given, whoever you believe gave that to you. Number 6 is the refusal to be creative is self-will and counter to our true nature. So when we say I'm not creative, we're really doing an injustice to ourselves. Number 7 is when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God, good, orderly direction. And I'll just tell you, there are some times now when I write, and it happened pretty early on once I started just getting into the groove of it, that I just go, where did that come from? Sometimes when I'm out here in my garden and just all of a sudden the flower bed comes together. Yeah, I picked the flowers and I decided where to put them, but man, like, where did that happen? And sometimes I'll look down on the page after I've been, typing away, and I'll just go, wow, that isn't even what I sat down to write, and look what came out of me. So really looking at that, I believe that was number 7. Was that number 7? I got so excited about talking about that. We open ourselves up. So number 8 is we open our creative channel to the Creator. Many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. When I open myself up to creativity, and it's been, oh my gosh, like 30 years ago. And again, I grew up Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic. I'll just say that. Creativity was, art class, and that was it. And you left it there in class, and you just didn't think about it too much more. And I used to always think, even when I was in Girl Scouts trying to get a badge, I was like, I can't do this because I'm not creative. You need to put all these things in order to get them. That was a misjustice. And I remember when my kids were little, and we had art classes, but they were different when I was little. But when my kids had it, like their art teacher, he was amazing. And they just had one teacher that taught art for the whole elementary school. And it opened my kids up. My kids are a little creative. They're very creative. And I'll take some credit as their mom for sure, but I think that some of that really, really helped them along the way. Number 9 is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. And then our 10th principle is our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move towards our divinity. And that's where, you hear about the whole idea of creative flow. That's where I believe that comes from. So those are her 10 principles out of the book. So I want to get back to the 10 takeaways. Sorry if I'm making this confusing, but I just thought that it was important to talk about her principles. Number 4 of the takeaways is giving yourself permission with what Julia calls morning pages. And morning pages is what we've all come to know as journaling. And I can remember back in a day when I would open a journal, couldn't even write in the journal because I was overthinking it. I wasn't letting it flow. And she really talks about how important in this 12-week process the morning pages are to really just do this mind up. From Cynthia, I learned about what she called a free write, and free writing changed everything for me because you're not overthinking it. You're not thinking about, okay, I have to think about the words I'm going to put on the paper. No, this mind of ours has so much going on in it that there's so much there. And we have our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. I always go front and back, but I don't think that's really where it is. But, really looking at the things in our unconscious mind, we're like a computer data bank that has so much up there that we have been gathering our entire lives. So when we don't overthink it, when we don't let our conscious mind take over and go, okay, no, that's got to be good English, that's got to be proper words, you look at it differently. So give yourself permission with the morning pages and actually let yourself write. And whether you want to do it, some people prefer to do it with pen and paper. Sometimes I really like the computer. I have to get rid of all the noise around the computer, make sure that I can't see anything but my writing screen, because sometimes I can type as fast as I can think, and I like doing that. When I do my victory letter, which came out of all of this, when I started writing that, going on almost 23 years ago, crazy that every Monday morning I started writing this letter, and it was from this process that I did that. Okay, number 5 of the takeaways is to make an artist date with yourself. What is something you love to do? And it could be cooking. It could be anything that allows your creative being to come to life. And if your creative being, and Julia talks about it a lot in the book, is if it has been, just held up because of not using it, again, you didn't have that muscle out there, is then what will spark you? What do you enjoy that could start sparking that? And you can do that by an artist date. It might be visiting a garden somewhere. It might be going to a restaurant that the chef is amazing to you, or whatever it might be. It might be hiking up in the mountains, which is something I love to do, to get my creative, because you're moving your body, and it might be going for a bike ride, but just an artist date of some kind. Maybe it's going to a coffee house to do your morning pages. Just really letting your imagination be your guide on what the artist date would look like. Number 6 is to remember to protect your inner child, which is a lot of what we hold so close to us. But it's remember when you were a kid, and I'm going to do in the podcast on growing your imagination, again, that I'll link here. I really am going to go into asking some questions about childhood you, and have it spark some memories of things like favorite color and things that you loved to do as a kid, that your inner child, because when we were kids, our imagination was like so huge, and then as life happens, we just tend to squish it in. So we got to remember to protect our inner child, and we do that by letting ourselves have creative play. Julia talks a lot about that in the book. Number 7 is, and again, these are my big takeaways from the book. And I think that there's so much more, because it's 12 weeks worth of it and a whole book worth of it. But don't allow perfectionism to take over. Be willing to fail at times. One of my creative outlets, as you can see a little bit over, where am I pointing? There. It's weird with the camera, but is gardening. And I will share more in different videos, my garden, which is out this way, that I'm actually looking at it as I sit here. But I that is where I have my creative play. And in the summer months. And am I perfect? No. Do I kill a lot of things? I have killed quite a bit over the years. And there's, like I said before, there's things that have surprised me that I put some flowers together and never imagining that they would look so beautiful. I had one plant I just pulled out this morning that I realized it was catnip. I don't know where the heck it came from, but it was like this big, and it's only it's the end of May. And I knew that had to go. As I said in a little clip I did about it, I don't even have a cat. I don't need catnip, and it spreads really badly, and it could be a failure beyond failures to take over an entire bed. So we will fail at times, and so is there a perfectionist part of you that it's stopping you, right? Our perfectionists can stop us because, it's not perfect. It's not, and there's many times when I go to send out my victory letter every Monday that I hit the send button, and I'm kind of like, is somebody gonna say something about it, or was it the best I could have done? I always, in my talks that I give on creativity, I talk about the first victory letter that I sent out, and that how I sent it, kind of, oh my gosh, who am I to send this out to people via email? And the only person I heard back from was my mother, who told me I had 3 typos. She goes, "It's pretty good, honey, but you did have 3 typos." So it's just continuing. I continue to go from there. Yeah. You will fail at times. And is it a failure? I wonder. Number 8 is to be careful who you hang out with. What creative work are you trying to block by who you hang out with? Because they don't support you in this work. If you have someone in your life who is saying, "Oh, you can never do that, you can never be that," maybe you shouldn't be hanging around with them. So really be careful about who you hang out with is number 8 of the takeaways. Number 9 is just to be caring and loving with your creative self. Your creative self is like the greatest gift. So it's like this whole idea of the 12 weeks with the Artist's Way is really nurturing yourself and your creative self and allowing it to really bring you up. And I'm telling you, like, knowing your creative self and hanging out with your creative self a lot is one of the greatest things you could do to relieve stress as well, because a creative self is usually pretty fun and loving. Yeah. And finally, number 10 of the 10 takeaways from the Artist's Way is quantity equals quality. Put yourself out there. You can't do something just once. Monet didn't just go in the back room and paint something. It was a lifetime of work. And it was, I don't know why Monet just came into my mind, but he did. It was that. And it's like, the more that you do it, myself as a writer, was I great at first? No. Again, remember those 3 typos. But they helped you along your way. And they help you to grow as you figure out, my writing has changed so much over the years. It's amazing. And so it's looking at how to do that. This is my very first book chat. Now I'm outside. Airplanes going overhead right now. Will you hear that? You probably will. Will this be perfect, this video in itself, as I'm also growing my YouTube channel and I wanted to do these book chats once a month? Are they all going to be perfect? No, but I have decided I got to get out there. I've got to do the quantity, and then that's going to bring the quality as I get better and better at something that I'm new at and something that I haven't done before. So I hope that this has helped. One of the other things that I will say, and I'm going to put that into I'm going to do that just for time's sake. I wanted to keep these pretty under 20 minutes. So I'm running out of time here. So I'm going to do my artist prayer over on Growing Your Imagination podcast, which again, on this page, you will see the bright and shiny object. I'm pointing up like it's going to be up above. I believe it will be above where this shows up on my YouTube channel. But I'm going to do Growing Imagination podcast, and I will share in that my artist prayer. And that's what Julia really highly recommends, is that you do an artist prayer, that you really, again, it's honoring that creative self. And I'll just give you the first line of that prayer. And it is, "Dear Great Spirit, please allow me to hold my creativity close to my soul." And it goes on from there. Yeah. So I will share that over on that other podcast. I want to thank you for attending my very first book chat for The Artist's Way. I am planning on other books along the way, from creativity to some business books that I find that are enlightening, not very, like boom, boom, boom business, but ones that really made a big difference in my life as an entrepreneur and as a business coach, and helped me along my way. I'll have to do one in front of my bookshelf the next time, maybe, to really, I have a lot of books and I've been trying to give some away because, a girl can only have so much. But that's it for this book chat. I so appreciate you being here with me. And until next time, take good care.